Hey, Scott here, along with the Sea Captain, and we're going to talk a little bit about what we do as far as the estate auctions. And the thing about estate auctions is usually people don't realize that they could or should use them, and we run into similar questions all the time, don't you
Yeah,
think?
we have a lot of questions frequently about should I use an auction or should I do an estate sale or should I do a garage sale? Um,
Or, the question just is like, my parents passed away and all of us are gone, or, and they got all this stuff. What do we do?
what do we do with it? Yeah, and the families look through some of it, and each member of the family has maybe picked out a few items that they want, but there's still a whole house full and maybe a garage full and maybe a shed full, and they just don't know what to do with it.
And what we can do and the services that Heckman Auction provides, and all the guys and ladies that we have that work for us, basically we can come into a house or a place with multiple buildings and put it online for you. And that's really the direction that everything's going. The live auction used to be something that was potential, and sometimes it is a usable, I guess, a weapon in the bag, if you will,
Yeah.
or something of that nature. But the online only auctions are kind of the way to go, and keeping it right on the estate. So we have this place downtown, and a lot of people will come in and, hey, we got to bring some stuff in. And the first question you ask is, how much do you have?
Right.
And why would you want to move it?
We had one just today.
Exactly. And I think that to answer a few of the questions, if you're in a situation like, well, let's get a situation like you're kind of in.
Yeah, we've got a situation where mother and father-in-law used to live on a farm. They moved in town a few years ago, and now they're moving to a nursing home. They had a farm auction. They sold off all the farm equipment, but the house was full, the garage is full, the sheds are full.
And the farm equipment was years ago, right?
The farm equipment was years ago, yeah.
20 years ago when they
20
got
years
done.
ago, yep. But now we've got all this other stuff, and my wife and I are 5 hours away, and there's a couple other of her siblings that are close by, but everybody has what they want, and so what do you do with all of this stuff? One of her sisters said, "Well, can you sell it on eBay?" Not that amount of stuff, it takes a lot of time to do that, and I've got things to do too, so. An auction is a really nice way to do it because you have a group like ours come in. We look over what you have. In a very short period of time, we lot the stuff, whether it be single lots or whether it be multiple group, a lot of stuff, and we take photographs of it. We write descriptions of it, and then when we get it all together, we put it on the internet. And one of the nice parts about the internet. Online only auctions is that you reach a larger crowd.
But still, almost all these estate auctions, most of the people that are bidding are probably neighbors, friends, family, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So everybody has a shot, and they can bid within a week's time. I think that's one of the reasons,
Yeah.
A lot of people watch at the end, but they can put their bids in for any time, maybe a 5-7 day period, depending on how that auction's set up. And that's what they can do. Plus, they don't have to wait, stand around at a live auction,
Spend the whole day.
Yep, to wait for something if they don't know when it's coming up, and that sort of thing. And that's why one of the reasons they've become popular. But to get back to your situation, it wouldn't be real feasible for all of you to get together and do garage sales.
No, or one person sell it all on eBay, or try to set up with all of us being in such far distances away, it's not easy to set up an estate sale either.
No, it's not. And especially if you do it yourself, one of the pitfalls of doing stuff yourself, especially like a garage sale, an estate sale, is you don't have the broad knowledge and you don't have a thumb on the pulse, I guess, if you will, of what's
Right.
really can sell and couldn't sell. It's not that we know everything, it's just that we do it so often that we know we have a wide range of knowledge on a lot of different things. And we have a group of people that have different knowledge in different areas as well. Everything from, farm equipment, we do a little bit of that, to logging and to estates and
Firearms, yep,
firearms,
glassware,
antiques,
yeah,
uh, coins, jewelry. So we have a mix of backgrounds that we do. So the thing about it is you could go that route, and a lot of people do. But what usually happens is this scenario. Let's just say that one of your brothers or sisters or relatives, whoever's involved with it, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, I should say, um, decides, okay, well, let's sell off, a couple of things. Usually they'll sell off maybe the best things,
right, right,
and typically they won't get as much as you would at the auction. Plus the auction with those, I guess, the meat and potatoes, the
right.
kind of the bigger items, that draws in everybody else to buy all of your normal stuff like tables and chairs.
Otherwise, you sell 2 or 3 good items out of there, and then you've got all this other stuff left over.
And the other stuff, not only, here's why it can cost you so much money. A, you can spend weekends and hours and days upon days just organizing it.
Right.
Then trying to sell it. You don't know what's good, so if you do a garage sale, what happens is people like us would come through, and the stuff we buy is stuff that's cheap for what it should be.
Right.
And we leave the stuff that you overprice, and everybody does probably.
Yeah.
So you're left with all of that, and then you get stuck in a situation where, well, it's too good to throw away, so maybe you bring it home to your house, put it in a box, and it sits there in the attic, or
right.
You put it into storage. And so many people. How many
yeah.
people have we met that put stuff into storage for 5 years? And thousands upon thousands of dollars.
The thing is with the estate sale is that you will sell a portion of it, but you will end up with, like you're saying, Scott, you're going to end up with a good percentage of it that you just doesn't sell. And
right.
Then you have to decide what to do with it.
I mean, unless you hire a professional company. Again, we've done estate sales too, but again, there's a way to do it, and there's a way, not to do it. And most people can't be a professional in something that they've never really done, to be honest with you.
Right.
That's what it is, one of the reasons. But getting back to where we were going with the good items, they'll sell off a couple of good items. They won't probably get as much money as they should have. Maybe Joe down the road, comes and says, well, Roger, he promised that to me, and I'll give you $500 for that tractor, or $1,000,
So
and they kind of feel obligated to him. But with an auction, it still gives the guy down
Roger
the road
a chance. Yes.
Yeah, gives him a chance to buy it if he wants it, and that's the other opportunity that you have there. But literally, if we get to it, we're going to do a series of videos. But we have some videos from this last year of like the before and after pictures of when it sells to the pickup date. It's a pretty amazing process that we can have a pickup and actually clear out multiple buildings all in one day.
Yep.
And then on top of that, there's other services that we can provide, and others too, that you throw out the rest. And that's another thing. How do you know what to throw out if you're doing it on your own? How do you do that?
If you're doing it on your own, unless you're really, really good at knowing something about everything, you're not going to know the stuff that you really should be throwing out, and the stuff you should be keeping. So you're either going to end up throwing out some stuff that you should have kept, or vice versa. And
you're literally throwing money into the dumpster.
Right.
I mean, everybody does, if you say, well, I could go for 50 cents, okay. Nominal stuff, not a big deal, but sometimes there's things that probably couldn't have or shouldn't have, and I mean, that does a couple of things. You keep a few things out of the landfill, somebody else can use it. You get a few more dollars in your pocket, plus you don't have to do the work, whereas, again, most of the people that are inheriting are, I guess, in your kind of generation, and you're not getting any younger. You don't need to be horsing on furniture and doing different things like that.
No, it's getting back to the few good items. The other thing that happens is if you take those out, the rest of the items on that sale are not going to do as well as if you kept them in with it. And so if you have if you have an estate, and in amongst that is a really nice car, a good tractor, maybe an SUV or something like that,
some good jewelry,
some
whatever
good jewelry,
else.
maybe a coin collection or something like that.
Yeah.
If you keep that all together, the whole will do better than if you take the good items out, sell them separately, and then try to auction off the remainder.
And here's one of the big reasons is, let's just say, for example, you have a car, and let's just say that at the end the car sells for $10,000, and there's obviously only one bidder that gets it. So
Right.
one person was willing to go 10,000, one person was willing to go 9,900, let's say,
Right.
and multiple people, maybe there was probably 50 people that were into it for five. They'd be interested at $5,000, and they probably log in and they decide, hey, we're going to do some bidding, and
You see all
almost
the other-
nobody goes into an auction and only bids on one thing. Very few people.
Very few people, yeah.
Almost everybody bids on multiple things. So they end up with something. And the other thing is, if you have a family that's known and things like that, there's a little bit of sentimental attachment to not just your family, but also to your, people in the neighborhood, or,
Right.
people that know your parents or your relatives, or whoever this situation has happened to. So, anyway, we can come in and take care of problems, I guess, in a matter of not very long. We can do that in a way where we can maximize dollars, but also sell the stuff, now. We turn it into dollars, but not only that, you also get that stuff gets to go to somebody else that wants it. And if you don't want it, there's no sense in throwing it out, honestly,
Right.
if somebody else might want it, and or use it, or could use it for something else. So that's what we can do in a nutshell, on an auction.
And it's a very organized process. We've done enough of them. Now, we did, 32 auctions this last year?
Yep, in 2019 we did 32 auctions and 3 estate sales. So get yourself, if you're faced with a situation like we just talked about, get yourself an auctioneer that you trust and an auction company, and tell them that that's what you want to do, because honestly it's a good way of doing it. It doesn't make any sense for you to spend months and weeks, and basically you usually are spinning your wheels most of the time. That's what we see with folks.
Yep.
And they call us sometimes after they've spun their wheels a little bit, and hopefully we're trying to get this out to you so that you understand that this is possible for you or your family if you're interested. And big, small, this method that we use is actually aimed towards most people around northern Wisconsin. We're not like known to be ultra wealthy up here. Most people's estates that we handle are maybe $7,000, $8,000 to $25,000. It's not a huge amount of money, but there's no sense in throwing it out either.
No, and we've done some larger ones.
And we have, yes. So
and a lot of the estate auctions that we do run anywhere from 300 lots to, we've done up to 1,500 lots.
Yep.
In an auction. So the size, varies, and depending on your situation, depending on the quantity of stuff and the quality of the stuff that you have. But it's like I said, it's a very organized process. We come in and just in a very short period of time, we have some very qualified people that will write good descriptions about the item, take great photos of the stuff, and then we put it online for people to bid on it. Like Scott said, they have a week to view it and to bid on it. And
then we have pickup day, and
Yep.
it all goes pretty smooth. But just to highlight our video, what you don't want to do is stress about it. All these little, the things, we can handle them. We can get all of the stuff organized. We can get it photoed and sold. You don't have to worry about, well, maybe this should go here, this should go there, this should go to St. Vincent's, this should go to, Aunt Julie, whatever else. If a relative hasn't shown interest, like that's another one of the little pointers we could talk about.
Yeah.
They probably aren't interested. They're not trying to insult you, but a lot of people already have all the stuff that they need or want. So don't sell off all the good stuff.
No.
And keep it on your property too. That's another thing. If you got a huge, if it was there, people pay more for something that comes from a place maybe that they knew or that they knew the folks, but it has a sentimental attachment, or it has an attachment of I remember Bill and Carol down the road. I'd probably buy something from them.
And we like to sell the story.
Yeah, and the story makes all the difference. So
the story of your parents, or your relatives, or whoever it is that you're working with or working for, their story makes a difference on the way the stuff sells.
It sure does. Well, anyway, we've run this video full, but we're going to have some more coming up, and I hope that you check us out online, heckmanauction.com. We'll add that to that. Also, check out the Sea Captain.
At Aztec on eBay.
Aztec, A-Z-T-E-C.
A-Z-T-E-C-H.
Aztec. So check that out, and we hope to see you around the auction trail.